I think it's important for us to differentiate during our campaign and the conversation that we've been having both with current and with running candidates for the ministerial positions. It is just impossible to have a lot of, like, a group of political people agreeing on things. It's impossible to do that with your siblings, you know, when you're gonna pick where you're gonna go for dinner and your birthday or something. So we're never gonna do that in an SRC at a university. So we're not aiming that high, and we don't think that that would be democratic either. So we think of ways to establish a healthy enough environment in the SRC. That means having respectful relationship with each other and our peers, and acknowledging that when we disagree with one another, it is because we disagree with our ideas and not because we think that the other person has something that they shouldn't have, or any of those things, just basic, you know, interrelational, respectful manners. So we want to establish that as the common goal, something that we can all agree to. The cornerstone would be we all respect each other regardless, and then we work on a common vision for the SRC. That's probably going to be contested pretty soon, and it's probably going to be a long, lengthy, you know, bumpy road towards to get there. But we want to make sure that people know that we're on the same boat, because we're all running for these positions because we want to see our university and our student body moving forward, and that it can only be done if we're all engaged with each other in a positive way.
So I actually want to give ministers, as well as more members of the executive team, which I want to expand, more voices and actually take it away from the president, as well as the Minister of Finance and Vice President currently. So I want to expand the executive team to have a Vice President Academic, Vice President Internal, Vice President External, Vice President Finance, and the President, to 5 positions, to give more voice in the leadership, the core leadership of the SRC, as well as the redesigning and reevaluation of all SRC positions. I want that to be done by the ministers, so they're actively seeing how their position has worked, how it's historically functioned, and how they can use their own mandates, their own platforms that they ran on to really try and foster the way that's happening. I think it's crucial to really allow all ministers to own what they're doing and to really enjoy what they're doing as well, by sort of stepping aside and allowing them to have a lot more control and freedom over what they're doing, how they're doing, is going to be incredibly beneficial. And I think, although we've tried to do that this year, the system in itself heavily restricts that.
So I would actually go the exact opposite way and say that I think flatter hierarchies are what creates sort of socio-political cohesion in a body like this. The body that I worked with before, we didn't have any different positions. We were 15 representatives of the students. And we did not have a president, we did not have a vice president, we did not have an executive board, and all these sort of great titles that sound very great on your resume, but you know, what do they really mean? So where I'm taking that, flatter hierarchies, I think they facilitate like a different kind of environment in which we can have discussions, and so that one's voice does not have more power than another one's voice. And in my experience, by making the stakes about representation rather than sort of soliciting a specific cause, that works out well in sort of a team dynamic. Yeah.
So, to answer your question, my platform kind of addresses this by trying to take the weight of a lot of financial proposals off the weight of SRC ministers. The way I proposed this was having them rotate in and out of the financial subcommittee, so for a month, 5 or 6 members would be on, a month they would be off, and so they would have more freedom to do the things that when they were elected to do, and do the things that they wanted to do within that mandate. And so I want to give ministers more time, more free time to pursue their, SRC interests. And so that's personally how I would want to address that.
Okay, thank you, candidates. We would now like to open it up for you all.
We've been here for almost an hour and a half. Are candidates allowed back?
Sure.
Thank you.